Hey guys, so I'm here with my boyfriend Pauley, if you haven't met him before. He was in one of my videos he did my makeup, so if you want to check that out, I'll link it in the bottom bar. But today we are going to talk a little bit about our relationship and how we've made it work long distance. 1,000 miles?
Approximately 1,000 miles.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you the states just for safety reasons, but yeah, so let's tell them about us and how we met.
Sounds good. Well, this is back a long time ago, but it was a galaxy far, far away.
This is like about 3 years ago, would you say?
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Maybe a little longer. You were in the same small group as my sister Ronnie.
At church. We used to live in the same, like...
region.
Yeah,
time
very
zone.
close. We went to the same church and... yeah, I was in the same small group as his sister, and I can't believe I didn't ever meet you, like, the entire 4 years, practically. Were we seniors or juniors? Or
you were a senior that year, because it was...
Okay, yeah. And so, I was with his sister, and, like, I kind of knew he existed, but, like...
But I knew she existed.
Barely. Yeah, okay, so this is the funny thing about us. We both knew about each other, and we both liked each other, but we didn't know each other, if that makes sense whatsoever. But I met him at Ronnie's 18th birthday party, and I was just like fascinated by the guy. I was like, like, and I knew a crush was kind of forming because I remember the night, I remember introducing myself to him. I was like, hi, and you look kind of scared of me.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, like, I had been asking my sister, is Christy going to be there? And she's like, yeah, she's going to be there, she's going to be there. And then I see her, and she has a ring on her wedding finger. And so...
Not this one, but, like,
no.
It was my purity ring. I still have it, I'm just not wearing it right now.
Yeah. I didn't know it was her purity ring,
I
so...
thought I was married.
I thought she was married. I'm like, how did my sister
married
forget that
at
detail?
17. So, yeah.
I was bummed.
Yeah, and so... As I was driving home, I was just like, my parents were asking me how it went. I'm like, it felt good, you know? But then, like, seriously, I remember grinning like an idiot all the way home because I was just thinking about this guy that I had met. I was like, where have you been? So, after that, I kind of just, I had a crush on him, but then I kind of just forgot about him, if that makes sense. It sounds really sad, but... I kind of did because I hadn't seen him at church, and, like, I would see him after church, and I'd, like, stalk him and look at him, like, and, which is funny because you were looking at me too, but, like...
Yes, but
like,
not like a creeper.
No, not like a creeper. But, like, he was sitting waiting for his sister after, like, high school, and I would be walking to work in the nursery to watch kids, and I would always, you know, take a glance and look at him, but... I guess he was looking at me too, but I never saw him looking at me. He was like mastered.
It was just, yeah,
he was
very subtle.
So yeah, anyway, long story short, so a bunch of time passed. I forgot that I had liked him, or I tried to forget him because I didn't see him, so I tried to, like, forget about it.
Funny, quick random thing. One time, she messaged me because she was trying to figure out where to go to college. And so she asked me about my school that I was going to. And she's asking me some questions, and so I was responding, trying to help her out, but I guess she was trying to more get a normal conversation going.
Yeah, I was trying to
But I just thought she was asking about the school, so I was helping her by giving her information.
So you pretty much, like, closed the conversation, and I was like, yay. Now if I say anything more, I'm, like, obvious, you know?
But you knew more about the school.
Yeah. And then I went to... Well, actually, I'm trying to figure out what came first when Ronnie sang worship.
Ronnie sang in the worship.
Ronnie was singing in the worship band, and I kind of had a feeling that he could be there to support her, but I didn't really know. And so I walked into high school, and literally, him and Ronnie and his family were standing right there, and I was like, like, I froze. I was like, crap. I'm like, I can't just, I wanted to walk past, like, I didn't see them, you know? But Ronnie was there, and I couldn't do that. That's rude. So I walked up and said hi, and I'm pretty sure his mom knew something was going on because she was grinning, staring at both of us, and it was, like, super obvious. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so that was scary. And then I went to Ronnie's graduation party, and I didn't really think that he was going to be there. And I was like sitting at the table with her and her friends, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I think I'd be at my own sister's graduation party.
Well, no, actually I did, but I knew you were going to be there, but I didn't see you when I first came, and so I was sitting with Ronnie and her friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's here somewhere. And so I'm like panning, and I'm looking around, and I see him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's here. And then, make matters worse, I'm sitting at the table, and like right there is like the window to the kitchen, and he's like there washing dishes, and it's like, what? Like, what young guy helps and washes dishes? It was just like really hot. I'm leaving the party, okay, so this is like a super long story, but that's okay. I'm sure, I don't know. So as I'm leaving the party, his mom whispers to me, which is like, that I didn't know he liked me or anything, any idea. I thought he wouldn't like me. He's too old for me. He's like 3 years older than me or something.
Too old.
I know, too old for me. And she said something like, a certain 20-year-old.
Well, she said goodbye to Ronnie's most beautiful friend.
Yeah, she's like, goodbye to, according to my oldest son, the most beautiful of Ronnie's friends or something. And I was like, and then 2 seconds later he comes walking by, and I'm like if he was right there, I probably would have had like a heart attack and fainted.
I would have caught you.
I'm like, I gotta get out of here. And so me and my mom left, and I'm like, bye guys. It was like him and like some other guys putting up balloons or taking down balloons, and they're like, bye. I was like power walking to my car. I'm like, Mom! And I told her. And then I was going to another graduation party of my friends, and like I got there and leaped into her lap and was like, oh my goodness, and just told her everything. So that was that. And I was like, and then I found out they were moving. My heart broke. It broke. Like Ronnie was telling us, and I was like, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And like she told me later that she could kind of tell. Mm-hmm. She thought that I might have liked him. Anyway, and so I waited all summer. I hinted to Ronnie so much that he contacted me. And so I just waited and waited and waited, and I was about to give up and be like, okay, it's not gonna happen. And then he messaged me the next day.
The thing is, I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do a long-distance relationship, and whether or not I wanted to do that to her as well, because from everything you hear, they're hard, and after being in one, we agree, they're really hard.
Yeah.
But she's worth it.
So from there, we just like talked. It started with just IMing, then Facebook helped a lot. Then it went to like Skyping, and then we visited each other. And the thing that's different about our relationship is that we started out knowing nothing about each other. Like, we hadn't been friends. We started out getting to know each other as our long distance relationship started. So there was about like 6 months of just talking every day, and FaceTime or Skyping. There wasn't FaceTime then. Phone calls. And so like the first time we hung out together ever was at Disneyland with
my mom and my sister.
Yeah, and that was like the most awkward day
ever,
but it was amazing. And then at the end, I was like, I gotta do this. So I just like grabbed his hand. I'm like, I want to hold his hand. And I did it. I took a risk. That was kind of scary, but
kind of freaked me out when she did it.
After the 6 months of just getting to know each other, to his house, and then New Year's came along, and he took me outside, and he had the fire, and he had the lights, and he asked me to be his girlfriend with a necklace. And poor guy, he was like, here you go. And he's like putting it around my neck, shaking, but it was cute. And he told me he loved me, and he's proven it every day since, so. So the whole kind of point of this video is like, I want to encourage people out there who are either thinking about getting into a long distance relationship or who already are in one, that you're not alone. I mean, these kinds of relationships are kind of rare, and not very many people want to get into them because you're just calling for a lot of pain and hard times, right off the bat. But yeah, so this is how we've been in our long distance relationship. Our entire relationship has been long distance, and we've been in a relationship, like, romantically for 2.5 years. So we're coming up on 3 years, which is, like, amazing. And I don't know, I'm proud of us.
I am too.
The whole point of this video is, yeah, I wanted to encourage people, but also talk about how we've made our relationship work, and then also kick off a little fun video series, like a book club type thing, and I think I'm going to call it the Romance Club, and it's just going to be with a couple of the books. We've been reading relationship books that have really informed us about each other and how we think, and really strengthened our relationship, and so I kind of wanted to go through those. 2 of these books, we've read 3, but I'm just going to go through, do 2 of them, and the first one that I want to go through with you guys is called Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti by Bill and Pam
Farrell.
Bill and Pam Farrell. I don't have it with me right now because I actually lost it, but I gotta find it. And then the other one is, I think
The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah, the 5 Love Languages. I told you guys about this book in my favorites a little while ago, but it looks like this, and it's by Gary Chapman, and we've learned so much about each other's love languages and how we communicate love to each other, and it's really helped our relationship grow stronger. How we've made our relationship work. Something that I would just say right off the bat, like, super important, is be communicative about your feelings. Because especially if you're in a long distance relationship, you're not together, so you can't read each other's body language. Like, if I was sad and I'm like, all day or whatever, he'd be like, what's wrong, you know? But when you're not together, you can't see each other, so you can't know unless you tell each other. And
you really have to be able to read more into a text than you typically would.
Yeah, like if you read it and you're like, well, okay, and you think it's like, you know, you feel like offended or whatever, they could have meant something completely different. And so we've learned this from experience, that you can't really, like, assume they mean something, because that creates conflict that doesn't have to happen. And if you're confused about something that they say, because you read it a certain way in your head, be like, what do you mean by that? And then they can explain, and then you can pretty much avoid a big fight.
Even things that seem as silly as just like the emoticons that you put with the text. Like when we first started dating, we would send different emoticons with our messages, and we had different meanings for them. So, I mean, over time we have like pretty much the exact same meaning, but
usually when there's no emoticon, it's kind of like,
what's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong? And also, this is something I feel that it's like hard for any relationship, but it's extremely important, I think, in our long distance relationship, is that, like, confronting the other person if they've hurt you. And because if you don't, then you're just gonna build up this resentment, and it's like you're already separated geographically, and so, you know, being separated even more is not gonna help the relationship whatsoever. So I think that's important, and also it strengthens your skill in doing that, because that is something that people don't like to do.
Also, I mean, like, typically for a couple that's in a normal, close, same city type relationship, after they get into an argument, they can talk it over and then, like, hug each other, give, like, a little kiss on the cheek, and then those sorts of things help you feel better. But at a long distance, you're 1,000 miles away or further, or however far, you can't do that. You can't walk over to her and give her a hug afterwards or rub her back. So you have to find ways, you have to make sure you communicate that you really are sorry, and
with
make
words.
and make it so the other person can tell you when they are having something that hurt them.
Because that's all you have, communication-wise, is your words. And I think also that helps, like, we've become best friends over the course of our relationship, and I think I give that a lot to the fact that we are long distance, because that's all we've had for a lot of our relationship, is just talking with each other and getting to know each other and encouraging each other. And so we've become really close friends apart from the romantic part of our relationship. And I think that that's really important for any relationship, is to have a good foundation that you can fall back on, because you're not always going to feel lovey-dovey, and you kind of just want to sometimes hang out with the other person and do nothing and watch White Chicks like we did last night.
I mean, if you're in a long-distance relationship, or if you're in any relationship, I also think just little things, even like handwritten letters, like those never get old.
Yeah.
Like getting physical letter in the mail that someone wrote out for you would be far more powerful, no matter what relationship position you're in, than sending a text. I mean, texts are nice, but nothing beats the love that's put into it, like a handwritten letter.
I think that's really important. But I also think that balancing out your life is important, and we went through a stage of like having to balance out our life because we were so focused on each other. We were almost obsessed with only talking with each other, you know, like friends slip through the cracks, God, church slip through the cracks, and we'd be focused so much on each other. And we can't do that because like I can't rely on him to keep me afloat, and you know, like I need to rely on God for that. And like when I at least first started to try to balance my life out, I tried to make it balanced, you know, not like I tried to balance everything out. And yeah,
I know for us, something else that has helped kind of also just improved us individually is kind of how to value our time with other people. Because, I mean, we get to see each other once every 2 or so months, typically. So, and when we do, it's like a weekend or maybe up to a week and a half, those sorts of things. So it's not too long. So we really learned how to value time with each other, and also with our friends, because it's like we realize just
that it's precious.
yeah.
It's something that shouldn't be taken for granted. And important that when you're in a long distance relationship, this isn't a relationship for messing around. Like, if you're going to be in a long distance relationship, you better be serious about it, just because it's so hard. And it's like, if you just want to be dating around, don't be in a long distance relationship. You're wasting your time. Like, if you're, especially, like, we're planning on marrying each other, and I think that personally, in my opinion, like, you should be planning on marrying each other if you're going to be in this kind of relationship, because it takes such work.
Or at least know pretty soon thereafter. You don't have to be like,
started
dating someone I know right then.
Right, but like, if you don't see yourself marrying them, then...
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of heartache for...
Yeah.
But if they are the one and you feel they're the one, you should totally pursue them, go after them, because it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
So by the time we get married, it'll probably be, what, like 4, maybe 5 years of long-distance relationship. That'll be hard, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Worth the journey.
Yeah. Those are just some things that have made our relationship work, and I honestly see it growing stronger every day, and I think he does too. And I don't know, if you're ever thinking about going into a long-distance relationship, really consider these things, and I hope that in some way it informed you or encouraged you, and that you were entertained by our story. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm excited to start the book series, and probably what we'll do is we'll like read a chapter, and maybe I'll make a video a week and talk about the chapter with you guys. I mean, you guys comment and stuff, but yeah. So thank you guys for watching our story, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.